Music.
Hey, good evening. Welcome to another episode of Uncorked with T. I'm T, and this is Neil Silberblatt.
Hello.
Neil and I go way back to, oh my God, when did we first meet?
I looked it up, 2018.
We first met in 2018.
2018, I know, 3 years ago.
Wow, yeah, we met at a poetry reading, of course.
Of course.
Of course. So let me get your wonderful intro in. Neil Silberblatt is the founder and director of Voices of Poetry on Facebook. I think you're what, 9,000 in?
We're 9,000, almost 9,400.
That's what's up.
Yeah,
that's
it's insane.
Since 2012, he has curated and presented more than 400 poetry events and various venues in Massachusetts, Connecticut, New York, New Jersey, and New York City. Voices of Poetry has featured acclaimed poets, including former U.S. Poet Laureate Robert Pinsky and Pulitzer Prize winner Frank I'm going to say his last name
Bidart.
Bidart. Thank you so much, Bidart. Neil was also nominated for Massachusetts Book Award and Poetry, and he was nominated for the Pushcart Prize several times because awesome. Thank you, Neil, so much for being here with us tonight.
My profound pleasure. Thank you, T. It is just delightful to be with you in this virtual format, and I cannot wait to be with you in person again.
One day. I wonder when that's going to happen. What is like in person ever going to look like?
I know. We'll have to be shocked to greet our friends in person.
Someone has to show up somewhere without pants. Like that just has to
happen. Can I vote for somebody else? I don't know.
Like I'm in so many meetings here and there for different stuff, and I have on a shirt like I always do, and I'm usually wearing like basketball shorts. Okay. So I'm just afraid one day I'm just gonna walk out with like basketball shorts and like a really nice top, and just
from the waist down up. From the waist down, I'm naked, so I'm just so
see whatever works. Yeah, if it's comfy, I say go with it.
Yeah.
How was your day, man? How are you feeling?
Fine, except as you can tell from the sweater, it's actually too cold up here. We had beautiful weather yesterday, and today it was raining here and snowing elsewhere. It's just like I'm gonna kill that groundhog.
You should kill that groundhog.
Man, oh man, that groundhog is not safe.
Isn't that guy like 100 years old or something?
I don't know that. You're thinking Mitch McConnell. No, the groundhog is almost as old as Mitch McConnell.
Do they keep replacing it like a goldfish?
I know this is. I mean, we obviously are not done with winter, or winter's not done with us. So it is too damn cold. It's New England, though. So who the hell knows what tomorrow may bring 90-degree weather.
New England is so fickle. The weather is so, I didn't really understand the meaning of the word fickle until I moved to New England. I got it.
Yeah.
I got it.
It's not fun when it's like this. I shouldn't have to wear a thick Irish sweater in mid-April. That's not right. That is not right. This should be in mothballs.
See? Oh my God. Is everyone else smelling like mothballs? Because everyone's home has like just cleaning your house 24/7?
Or cedar. Either mothballs or cedar, one or the other. Yeah.
I like it. John Handwright said, I will gladly show up to the next in-person VOP event in my underwear. So he is offering that if you're interested in such a thing.
Yeah. No, thank you, John. That's lovely of you to offer. But no, people might notice, and there are probably laws against that.
Well, probably like one or two.
We're organizing some live and in-person events again, and we're going to have to remind people, for the fall. When hopefully, fingers crossed, eyes crossed, when hopefully things are back to normal again, or more normal than they have been, I should say.
God, I hope so.
And obviously we're taking it, all health and safety is paramount. So if things are still screwed up by then, we will obviously take a step back. But in the hope that things are healthier then, we're organizing live and in-person events again. And I'm reminding people to show up dressed because everybody else is watching these poetry events online naked. Like,
I feel like
don't do that. Yeah. You have to get dressed to come to these things.
You gotta get dressed?
I know. Oh, PJs are fine too.
Okay.
PJs are fine too.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
What did you have for breakfast this morning? I'm curious.
I had, oh God, I'm so boring. I had a bowl of Special K. God, I feel so
Like the
Caucasian.
cereal or the drug?
No, cereal. I feel so Caucasian now. I apologize. There was the banana in it. Does that count?
I mean, it counts for something. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
which
you know,
ones?
a banana and Special K. That really was. I wish I could make something up more imaginative. I had
Oh,
mangoes drizzled with fresh papaya. I didn't. I just did Special K and banana.
mm.
Yeah.
I had a gross breakfast. Well, I mean, it was good to me, but I usually have a cup of water and a boiled egg, and then I go to the gym. And
Oh, how healthy.
right? Well, I
That's
need like something in the morning, otherwise, I will pass out. And
okay.
then I came home and I was like, you know what I want? Tuna at like 8 o'clock in the morning. So that's what I had this morning.
Tuna.
Tuna. I love tuna fish.
It's so funny. I remember when my mom, when we lived in Connecticut, I got a tuna steak and I put it on the grill and I was grilling tuna. And my mom, who keeps kosher, looked at this and said, "What is that?" Like she thought I was cooking pork for her. And I said, "It's tuna, Mom." She said, "That's not tuna." You know. I said, "Mom, tuna doesn't come around. It doesn't swim in the ocean in little cans with chicken on the sea. This is tuna." I actually go to the garbage and take out the wrapper, which said tuna steaks.
Like I swear to God.
Yeah, really. I said, just crumble it up with some mayonnaise. It'll taste just the same.
I'm gonna try that because I love tuna.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Neal, can we get into your first amazing work of poetry?
Oh, sure. You
Yay,
want
balls.
yeah, pressure's on, folks, right? You want comedic? Do you want what you want romantic? You want erotic?
I like romantic.
What romantic? Okay.
That's so sweet. I'm a romantic at heart.
Okay. Well, this is romantic, borderline erotic.
All right, whatever floats your boat. I'm down with it.
Okay. And float your boat is appropriate because it's called La Mer, which
Nice.
is
What does La Mer mean?
the sea.
Aha.
If you paying
Float your
attention
boat.
in French class, you would remember that.
I went to Spanish class.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I grew up in on Long Island, so Spanish.
Where in Long Island?
Freeport, actually. Jay
Oh.
Barrett and myself grew up in the same town.
Oh, that's right. That's right. You mentioned that. That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a city boy, so that's we
Yeah,
call
that's
it.
French.
I know. Well, was that or German or Latin? So French won out.
All right, whenever you're ready.
I'm ready. La Mer. You left part of the beach in my bed. It is not just the sand, though there is that. Nor was it the shells which fell from your thighs when you rose and sought refuge on mine. Those washed off this morning in the hot spray and soapy foam. No, you carelessly left the scent of the ocean all over me in my once dry dock bed. And now I cannot wait to return to the sea again and dive headlong into your waters.
Yo. Wow. First, could you turn down your sound a little bit? I'm echoing.
Oh, sure. Sorry.
No, that's fine. Holy shitballs. That was really great. The metaphors in there.
Can you see me blushing? I don't know.
Oh my God. So dry dock bed.
Yeah.
I thought that was so fun. I mean, just, dealing with the parallels of, actual erotica and having sex. And then, the sea and the ocean and the dryness. Well, the wetness. And then, you know what I mean? I really love that parallel.
Yes, there's no way you can get any questions out here without there being somewhat racy because the poem is racy.
It's a really nice poem. Did you have a person in mind when you wrote it?
Oh, hell yes.
Okay.
Yes. Oh, hell yes.
Has she ever read it? Has she or he?
She has heard it. I read it to her.
How's that going?
She responded well. And the poem actually began because of sand in the bed.
Nice.
And I thought, sand in bed. How do you make a poem out of sand in bed? Mm-hmm. I just thought, transport the bed to the ocean.
Do
make the bed.
I'm sorry.
No, it's all right. Make the bed flow into the ocean, as it were. So I wanted to have all the elements: the sand and the shells and the washing off and the hot spray and the foam, and the scent of the ocean, which is to me the most erotic thing there. One of the most erotic things there is. And then return to the sea again, which obviously, heads up does not mean sea, obviously, but you get the drift. I'm gonna start blushing in a moment.
Do you find yourself asking that question a lot? How can I make a poem out of this? Is that just naturally what your head does?
Absolutely. I will hear a word or a phrase. I will hear something on the news, or just come across something at Trader Joe's, and think, gee, can I use that for source material is all around us. It's all around us. It's the air we breathe. It's whatever we drink. So yeah, I'm always thinking, which is why, as you know, and you do the same thing, you always carry a pad and pen around with you.
Always.
Because you never know. I hate to use the word when inspiration hits, because that evokes such 19th or 18th century image of, the muse sitting on your shoulder whispering words to you. Don't work like that. But yeah, I'm always thinking about, how do I use that phrase, or can I use that phrase? And yeah, do you find the same thing, by the way? Do you find that you're using bits and pieces of overheard conversation?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yeah.
I've pulled over on the road, just like I need to write this down right the up now. And my mom was just like, why?
Why? Exactly.
It's what my brain does.
What are you doing? Yeah.
So Neil.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a question for you.
Please.
Okay. What have we started?
I was nowhere near Dealey Plaza.
Thank God. Who was the first person to believe in your talent, and how did that person's belief shape you as a poet?
Wow, good question. Really good question. I want to say my brother Steve, who was writing poetry himself and was reading a lot of poetry and bringing a lot of poetry books back home with him from his college days. But the first person who told me that I had what he called a literary voice, and which was my own voice, which is when we're starting out, when anybody starts out, you start out by copying, copying somebody else, intentionally or not. I'm not talking about out and out plagiarism. I'm talking about copying the style of or whatever. And the first person who told me that I had my own voice was my English teacher at Stuyvesant, Frank Bidart. And so I want to say I'll blame him.
It's all his fault.
Yeah, it's his fault, basically. But ultimately, and not to sound, is it going to come across as egomaniacal, you have to believe in your own voice. If you don't think that you have a voice worth expressing, ain't nobody else going to believe it either.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, you have to believe that you have something worthwhile. I'm not saying like worthwhile, the capital W, or socially important. I'm not talking about like, that your poems must be socially useful. I'm talking about just, you have to believe that you're something important to share. Otherwise,
why would anyone listen?
Exactly. So it's like preparing food for somebody that you care for. If you don't think that you know what you're doing, stay in the kitchen a little bit longer.
Maybe look something up. Maybe
look something up. Exactly. Yeah. Stay in the kitchen, but but eventually, when you come out with that dish from the kitchen, you have to believe in yourself and believe that you're preparing, that you're giving this person that you care for something decent, something that will nourish them in some way. So it's not meant to sound egomaniacal, like believe in yourself, which is easy to say and almost impossible to do. But it's so essential for whatever it is you're doing. If you're a plumber or a poet or anything, whatever, or a car mechanic, you have to believe that you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I give you the snaps. Yeah. You
Thanks.
You're welcome. Can we get into your next poem?
Oh, sure. And actually, this ties in with what you just asked me, which I did not know you were going to ask me, actually.
Nice.
And what you asked me was, how do I wonder how can I use this for a poem? So a year ago, I can't believe he's going to be a year and a half old soon. My gosh. My nephew Rafi and his lovely wife gave birth to a beautiful child. My nephew Rafi's wife is from Kenya and the Caribbean. Rafi's mom and dad. Well, Rafi's dad is my brother Stephen, who shares my ancestry of Russian, German, Polish, God knows what, Martian. Rafi's mom is part Puerto Rican and part Norwegian.
Wow.
So, and the baby's name is Zakai.
Damn, that's a cool ass name.
It isn't a great name. I mean, it's Hebrew for pure, I know it's great. And so when my brother Steve told me that was the baby's name, I asked him, can I write a poem? He said, can I stop you? I said, no, you can't. He said, go for it. So this will be published soon in Muddy River Poetry Review.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Pure for Zakai. Ivory soap boasted that it was 99 and 44 100% pure. Vanilla extract, cane sugar, and flour made similar claims, making the other baking products feel leprous by comparison. The pure are like that, always touting their purity, leaving the rest of us feeling sullied, dirty. You, dear one, are not pure. Who would want in this world to be pure, blameless, he who is without sin? Who would want the privilege or responsibility of casting the first stone? Such a weighty thing it is to be pure. No, you are not pure. In you flows the blood of mongrel races, from Puerto Rico and Kishinev, from Finland, India, and the Caribbean, from shtetls and barrios, from the Third World to First Avenue. Your swaddling cloth is the kikoi under which your grandparents were married, the fringed and frayed talit in which your great-great-grandfather draped and lost himself, the lace mantilla passed down to your grandmother by her mother and hers, the tablecloth carefully pressed by your great-grandmother with wine stains from the year before, from the Passover Seder. Your family tree is not some maple with its symmetrical and branches and leaves as precise as snowflakes, ready to yield pure maple syrup. It is a mangrove swamp, its gnarled roots forming new growth. You are something more precious than pure. You are a tapestry of the hopes which led a frightened 8-year-old girl and her parents to flee to this impure land. Not for you to cast the first stone. You will gather those stones together and build a new foundation, leaving purity for soap and vanilla extract.
Nice. So I still have a bit of an echo. Would you mind turning me down a little bit?
Turning you, of course. Is that better?
Let's see. La la la.
La 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 la
Yeah.
la. Is that better?
Okay, that's much better. Thank you.
Of course.
I really like that. I was a little apprehensive when I heard mongrel, and I was like, "Where are we going with this, Neil?" And then
I am of a mongrel race, according to the Nazis. Um,
and then
so yeah,
the
so
more precious than pure. Um,
yeah,
I think that line is so very important because throughout the poem you're talking about purity and how it has less to do with my interpretation was it has less to do with pure and more to do with just carrying shit.
yeah. I mean, there's so. I mean, pure is one of those words that and I love words, by the way, which do this. I love words which can carry multiple meanings,
Mm-hmm.
because then you could have a lot of fun with them. And pure is one of them. And pure can be both, pure can be, oh, this is pure gold. It also can be pure bullshit. And it is both a noun. Something is pure. It also is an adjective.
Mm-hmm.
That's pure nonsense.
Mm.
Which sounds like an oxymoron. But and purity is great. We all aspire to have pure souls. Racial purity, though, I think I have some problems with that.
I
For
might have
obvious,
one or two problems
yeah,
with it.
yeah, for obvious reasons. So, so it was having fun with the word,
Mm-hmm.
obviously, and then what happened was I went grocery shopping to Trader Joe's, and I was curious to see as to what products marketed themselves as being pure.
That's
And
so
wouldn't
good.
you and wouldn't you know it, the objects that market themselves as pure are by and large white, pure flour, pure sugar. You will not see coffee saying pure coffee.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. You don't see, pure Coca-Cola. Nope.
Dear God, please no.
No,
I
exactly.
think that's
So,
called cocaine. I think
so I
that's
thought, I thought, okay, so this is, or soap, but oddly enough, all the products that marketed themselves as being pure were all tinted white. Go figure.
how
So
funny.
I had fun with that, and I thought, no, I don't want. This kid is something much more precious than pure. Pure is like overrated.
The swaddling cloth, as soon as you said that, like my imagery of like holding like this little adorable little baby like in your hands. First of all, babies smell amazing.
Yes,
And
well,
like
up to a point they do, and then
up to a
yeah,
point. Like that baby smell, oh my God, I will rob a whole bank for that smell. It is
yeah,
amazing. So
yeah.
like
Well,
that imagery,
certain words, I confess, certain words I love. Swaddling cloth is one of them.
right? It just
Um,
felt good. Like I was in it with you. Like I was holding this little cute little baby and just
yeah,
sniffing his head.
yeah.
I don't sniff
And
babies on the regular.
no, that's cool. If you want to sniff babies, that's cool. I think I don't, there may be laws against that, but hell, I won't turn you in.
Just one or two.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Um, So, and the poem is now, I sent the poem off to um, my nephew and his bride and his wife. And it is, I'm told, in the baby's bedroom.
Stop. Oh my God.
So,
Maybe you
yeah,
still like grow up with that like imagery of
I hope so. I hope
more.
so. And he's adorable. I posted pictures of him on the Voices of Poetry page. He is gorgeous and adorable and just, uh,
Baby, this is so cute.
yeah, he's just adorable.
So cute.
Yeah,
So Neil, I have another question for you.
please.
Okay. Okay. I have two questions, but they're opposite of each other. They're kind of the
Okay,
same question, but like opposite. So
okay.
the first one is if greatness were to sit next to you as a being, what would it compliment you on first? And the other question is if sorrow were to sit next to you as a being, what would it notice about you first?
The same response to both.
Really? Okay.
That I'm still here. Having dealt with what I've had to deal with, this coming May 2 will be the 5th anniversary of my diagnosis with stage 4 cancer.
Mm.
And which I am not saying it to boast, because I could keel over any moment. I'm not planning on doing that, folks. Don't worry.
Okay, I'll be like so mad at you.
Yeah, but I have too much work left to do.
Good.
But I was not expected to make it more than 2 to 4 years post-diagnosis.
Wow.
So if greatness were to sit next to me, and I like to think that greatness has sat next to me at some of our events, including the person I'm speaking to right now, at the other end of this camera, the one comment that I've heard is, "I can't believe you're still here." To which I, jokingly respond, "That makes two of us." If sorrow has sat next to me, and sorrow has, because I've been with fellow cancer patients and cancer survivors, they're the same statement: "I can't believe you're still here." And those two qualities of greatness and sorrow have an awful lot in common.
Yeah.
Because they're both so transitory, and they both are only meaningful in terms of the lessons they can teach you and the lessons you draw from them. If you ever walk away from a poem or whatever, something you've written, and say, "God, I'm great," no.
Calm down.
Yeah, exactly. Yeats was great. You're pretty darn good, but you ain't there yet.
Yeah, you still eat Taco Bell.
Yeah,
like,
exactly. You still put, and if you ever find yourself overwhelmed by sorrow, and God knows I have, and it's, depression ain't easy, and his twin cousin's anxiety ain't easy, then again, accept that tomorrow maybe just a little bit better. That this is not a permanent condition.
Yeah.
You're not as great as you think you are, nor is the world gone to shit either. Somewhere in the middle is where you are. So oddly enough, the answer, and it's a great question, by the way. The answer to both questions is the same. I can't believe you're still here.
Can I delve into that a little bit more? Can I ask you a question?
Please.
So I've heard that children who go through cancer, children usually get through physical problems and cancer easier because they have wild imaginations. They believe in fairy dust. It's easier for them to believe that everything will be okay because childish way of looking at the world. How do adults deal with staying positive when
Oh boy.
How do you stay in that positive
that's a tough one. That's a tough one. I mean, fortunately, I had doctors and nurses who would not give up on me, even when I was prepared to give up on myself. I had, and I sing their praises on high, because I did not think, when I was being operated on in May of 2016, that I was going to leave the hospital vertically. I was pretty sure that this was it, folks. That this was going to be, I was going to go out there in a body bag.
In 2016.
Yeah, 2016.
Wow.
Because when the doctor tells you have stage 4 cancer, and I did not know what that meant. I like, okay, well, I stupidly thought that stage 1 was the worst, and stage 4 was like, okay, like, oh, well, how many stages are there? He said, "Neil, you don't get it. There is no stage 5.
Ow.
Yeah, I like, ow, exactly right. How do you get past that, and how do you manage to get out of bed in the morning?
Yeah.
I'm not going to say something as trite as, you pray a lot, but you do. Writing, music, friends, stupid ass movies. laughter, love and support and nurturing, and a lot of the mantra that I always love to quote is by Samuel Beckett, the Irish poet and playwright, who wrote, "Can't go on, must go on, shall go on." And that has become my mantra. I mean, I've taken to one of my literary heroes is Audre Lorde, feminist, amazing activist, former New York State lesbian. Yeah, she was the whole deal. She was a former New York State poet laureate, and she had an amazing quote, which I've taken to quoting at the end of our events. Can I share it with you?
Yes, please do.
Let me just pull it up over here, if I may. Hold on one second.
When you were thinking about your quote, I was thinking about one of my favorite quotes, which is from Mike Tyson. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face.
Yeah, that is a great line. That is a great line. I love that line. Yeah, that is a great line. So here's the quote from Audre Lorde. Audre battled cancer and eventually lost that battle. "I want to live the rest of my life, however long or short, with as much sweetness as I can decently manage, loving all the people I love and doing as much as I can of the work I still have to do. I am going to write fire until it comes out of my ears, my eyes, my nose holes, everywhere, until it's every breath I breathe. I'm going to go out like a fucking meteor." Audre Lorde.
Damn right.
So that is, yeah.
Before we get into your next poem, John Hamwright had a message for you. He said, "Neil, you rattled off a few terms in the poem that I'm not familiar with. Are they Jewish or Kenyan origin?"
Kikoi is Kenyan. Kikoi is a tribal cloth from Kenya, which is where my nephew's wife is from, or family is from, rather. Talit is a Jewish prayer shawl. Don't think of it as a scarf. Think of it as a tablecloth. The one that my grandfather wore, was the size of a tablecloth. And he would quite literally drape himself. Just imagining a burqa for men. So that is the Seder is a Passover meal, Passover festive meal. I'm trying to what are the terms that I use, perhaps. Let me see. Let me take a look at the poem. The mantilla, lace mantilla, is a beautiful, when Steve and Rita, my brother and sister-in-law, got married, she had a beautiful headdress, which her mother had worn and which her grandmother had worn as well, sewn of lace, hand sewn of lace. It was beautiful. It was from Puerto Rico. I'm not sure how to describe it any better than that, but it was basically a head covering from lace. It was beautiful. It was quite strange. Yeah. So I think those are all the technical terms, but hopefully you get to feel imagery is so wrapped up in poetry. I want to give you a sensory feeling as to what I'm describing. It's a mini movie, if you wish.
In your brain part.
Yeah. I mean, it's show, don't tell. Is the mantra for writers. So I'm trying to show.
You guys, if you have any questions for Neil, please throw them in the chat, and we'll ask him as we go along. But for now, we're going to head into your third poem.
My third poem. Okay.
Wait, I asked you a question already, right? Yeah, I did.
Yes, you did. Yes, you asked me, and very good questions too, by the way. And folks, I had no idea what she's going to ask me.
None. I don't send the questions. I had
no idea what she's going to ask. I wish I did. I could come up with much better answers. let me think over here. I also like to introduce, random, mixed characters. So I don't know if you recall The Adventures of Superman on TV.
Yes.
With the actor George Reeves.
Oh, yeah.
No relation to Christopher Reeve. No relation at all. Just
coincidence.
That's
what I was thinking of. Okay, never mind.
No. George Reeves was the guy on the TV show Adventures of Superman. And it was really cheesy. It was really cheap. I mean, when he flew across the screen, you could actually see the wires on his back. It was really cheesy. Very low effects, very low budget effects. But that's what I grew up with. That's what that was the quality of the TV program that I grew up with. So this is for him. Ooh. This is for him. Elegy for Man of Steel. This will be published as well soon.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Okay. As a child, I watched George Reeves darting into and out of phone booths to change his clothes, tearing off his fedora and horn-rimmed glasses, stripping off his suit, white button-down shirt and tie, revealing cape and tights, which, like him, were always at the ready. I watched him racing and flying across our small black and white TV set to fight untruth, injustice, and the un-American way, and wondered where he stood on the beatings of white freedom riders or the hosings of black protesters who also raced in torn and blood-soaked suits and ties across our TV set. The summer of my 6th year, when the twisted black and white bodies of Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodman were found in Philadelphia, Mississippi, I questioned what side Clark or his alter ego were on, and whether he had arrived there too late, even with all that racing and flying. Surely he was on their side, he, an outside agitator and a New York City journalist. Then, after all those phone booths, all that racing and flying, George got himself shot and killed in his mid-40s, like our other heroes. So of course he was one of us. I knew it all along and loved him all the more.
Damn. Okay, let's unpack some shit. I really enjoy that. So untruth, injustice, and un-American way.
Yeah. I managed to, because it was truth, justice, the American way that he was fighting for. So, of course, he had to combat untruth, injustice, and the un-American way.
Do you think, so that TV show was going on at the same time that you were watching the civil rights movement happen on TV?
Absolutely.
And in today's world, there's no possible way that this would be happening without a TV show, especially one that popular talking about it. Is that part of why you wrote this?
Absolutely. It was. I was thinking back to the heroes of my childhood, both real and fictional. And here was a fictional hero, obviously, Superman, and juxtaposed with the real heroes, the civil rights protesters and freedom riders. And I wanted to somehow to combine the two of them. I wanted them, obviously, their paths never crossed. If only they did. But I remember, even though I was a little one, I remember when the bodies of Schwerner, Cheney, and Goodman were found. I remember my mom crying. And I remember thinking, where's Superman? Why can't he fix this? Obviously, that thought was, a childish thought, obviously, but somehow I thought, okay, why not somehow juxtapose Superman and his alter ego Clark Kent into the civil rights struggle?
Yeah.
And then as I did research, and sometimes I'll look stuff up, I realized that George Reeves was in fact shot and killed in his mid-40s.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. What
Yeah.
happened there, if you know?
Well, that's an interesting question. There was some talk that he committed suicide. There was some talk that this was a parlor game gone terribly wrong, where he basically dared people to shoot at him, and he didn't know the gun was loaded.
The gun is always loaded, people. The gun is always loaded.
Yeah. So there is ultimately it was ruled a suicide, but there was some theory that it actually was murder because he was gay or was bisexual.
Here.
So of course, that was never discussed back in the 60s. That was never ever discussed, of course.
It wasn't discussed back in the 90s when I came out. I was just like, I'm gay.
Yeah. Ah! But I mean, then I realized that Bobby Kennedy and Dr. King and Malcolm X were all either in or near their mid 40s when they were killed. I mean, Dr. King was 39 years old.
Young.
So I thought, oh, okay, well, there's my hook. I've now made Clark Kent and Superman a civil rights icon. I just like combining weird stuff. Like, this doesn't go with this. Yeah, it can. You can combine anything you want to in poetry. You can combine Batman and God and the plight of the Palestinians. I mean, whatever you want, really. It doesn't need to quote make sense. It needs to make internal sense.
If it makes sense to you, and I mean that's the beauty of poetry.
Yeah.
So you were saying before, don't tell, show.
Show, don't tell.
I really saw that in the beginning of your poem when you were describing Superman going into the booth, and from his button-down shirt to like his tights, like that visualization was in your words, and I was like following it. I can see it in my mind. Is that something that just comes naturally to you, or do you like break things down as you write them?
As I don't know if it comes naturally. I certainly work hard at it. As a kid, I loved the movies. I mean, I would love at some point to write a collection of poems called A Life in the Dark. About recollections of movies, just riffs, having the poems be riffs on movies and actors. And I would go back and tell my mom the plot and sometimes the dialogue from the movie that I had just seen. And I would basically replay the movie for her in my description.
That's really sweet.
Because I knew Mom was never going to see this movie.
No.
Yeah. But so whether it was Double Indemnity or The Sting or whatever it might be, I would basically narrate the movie to my mom and do bits and pieces of the dialogue for her, so she could essentially see it through my eyes. And that's what I try to do when I set pen to paper. I want you to, even if you've never seen The Adventures of Superman, and most people have, of course, I want you to picture this guy racing to and fro, into and out of phone booths, stripping off his clothing.
That idea is so ridiculous, but fun.
It's absurd. It's absurd. It's completely absurd. But then when you think about it, when I thought about it, think about who else is racing across our small black and white TV set. It was Superman, the fictional hero, and the real life heroes of the civil rights protesters and freedom riders. And they were both wearing the same kind of suits, with the narrow ties and the fedora hats.
Pretty badass. I love fedoras.
Yeah. So, that imagery just merged somehow.
Damn, I love that. So I have one more question for you, and then we're going to get up out of here. If you guys have any questions for Neil, please throw them in the chat. John Handwright said, no straight man can wear tights that well. I'm not catching that, John. You almost got me. I'm not going to do it. I'm not gonna do it. So Neil, last question for you. This one's kind of weird, but I'm interested in your answer.
Please.
If you could rename the word strength, what would you rename it, and after what? Like, what reason?
Oh boy. In any language, huh?
Any language, any word, any animal, any word whatsoever that you could rename strength to be.
Strength. I hear the word strength, and I don't think of physical strength. I don't think of as being able to bench press a Buick. That's any Bulgarian, really, I don't think of the Bulgarian weightlifters who can lift, 600 pounds.
Lazy.
I don't think of those guys. I think of strength being, a kind of internal strength, a sojourner truth strength, an Audre Lorde strength, the strength of nurses who, despite all, will go into the hospital and deal with some pretty heavy shit at peril to themselves. So if I could rename strength, oh wow, that's a good one. The first one that comes to my mind, and again, I always go with your first choice, is spirit, which in Hebrew is ruach, which is a great word, because it means a lot more than spirit. Spirit. Now, I'm not talking about Casper the Ghost kind of spirit. I'm talking about spirit as in, something inside. Yeah, we're not talking about, we're not talking about Casper the Friendly Ghost kind of spirits. I'm talking about something inside, something that is, and it's hard for a devout agnostic to say this, but something that compels you to get up, that allows you to get up, that do you ever see a marathon? You ever see the runners hit the wall? They call it hitting the wall at the 18 mile mark, but they have another X number, 6 more miles to run, whatever it might be. And after hitting the wall, they continue. That's where the strength kicks in. That's where that spirit energy, I don't know where it comes from. I leave that to philosophers and scholars. But if I had to rename strength, it would be that. There was a great, one of my heroes is the photographer W. Eugene Smith. And he did a photo essay on a nurse midwife down south.
Whoa.
Who and I posted these photos on the VOP page. And she had delivered countless children, some of whom were stillborn, some of whom were miscarriages. But she would travel to these places which were far, far from hospitals, and deliver these children and take care of the sick. And that is a strength just completely I'm in awe of. I'm absolutely in awe of. And I admire that with an almost religious admiration. Where did she find that? I don't know. I wish she were around. I would ask her if she's passed on now. Where did my grandmother find the strength to say to my grandfather, you know what? We're going to the New World. I have no idea what's there, but it's better than here.
Yeah.
So, all those immigrants on those ships that came over here, who had no idea what was waiting for them, who didn't speak the language, who didn't know the customs, who didn't know a subway from
a hole in the wall. Looked the same.
who had never seen an elevator. My grandfather would never step foot in an elevator. He didn't know what they were. He didn't know.
If you didn't know what they were, it's
he didn't know what they were.
insane.
He was not going to get anywhere near an elevator.
No, it's a box in the sky. Like, I'll pass.
Exactly.
No.
It could fall. Yeah. But he had this incredible strength and indomitable spirit. So I guess if I had to rename it, either that or Murray, I would rename it Murray.
I really like Murray. Oh man, thank you, Neil, so much for being here with us today.
Love you. Love you.
Oh, I love you too. I would love to if I will be visiting the Cape over the next couple months. So I would, if VOP is up and running,
count on it.
I would love to come by. Love
count
to.
It. Thank you for doing this. Good luck with your new book, The Road to Israel. I love it.
Yes, yes. Hopefully to be done and published by the end of the year. Yay! But those of you who are not familiar, Neil Silberblatt, he is curated. Nope, he's the founder and director of Voices of Poetry, which is 9,000 people deep now. So that is a hell of a page.
More than 9,000. It's and we have a wonderful diversity of voices, which is great. We have people from all over the globe, really.
Right, 9,000. Don't you get steak knives now? Like, isn't that? Don't you get like steak knives or something?
We're working on the bamboo steamer.
See? Smart. All right, guys. Thank you, Neil, for being with us. Those of you who caught the intel of this, if you would like to catch the whole episode, it will be up on our Anchor podcast. Just go to Anchor and Uncorked with T, and you will find us there. So thank you, Neil, so much for being here with us tonight. And I love you so much.
My profound pleasure. Love you. Yeah. Be well.
You guys have a wonderful day. Remember, hurt people. So keep an eye on your pain. Stay safe. Godspeed. And we'll see you next week. Deuces.